Okay guys, so today I'll be showing you how to make some amazing scrambled eggs. By amazing, it's more so incorporating the flavor and showing you guys really how to get it in and really taste a quality product. So what I do with my eggs is I use about 3 whole eggs, and then I put in about 6 or so tablespoons of egg whites just to kind of buff it up some. Trying to watch the cholesterol intake and all that good stuff. But what I'm going to show you guys, always want to get your pan preheated. So I turn my pan up pretty high just to get things in. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm using as far as the fat. Now this is a pan where you don't necessarily have to use fat, but fat is flavor. So what I have here is a little bit of butter, and then also some leftover bacon drippings there. So Big Mama and them, Grandma, Nana, Mima, all them, what they used to keep in the big canister on the pan. So we got about a total of about 1.5 tablespoons of fat that we're going to add in today. And so once we do that, I'm just going to get that in. You want to just see that kind of melt down. You could also bake your bacon in the same pan first and then just kind of render that. And once you do, just leave what's in the pan. And if you want to add the butter for flavor, you're welcome to do that. So I'm just getting that in, letting that kind of melt down some. And I got my heat up on about a medium high right now, just so we can get that in. What we're going to do with these scrambled eggs also, we're going to blister some cherry tomatoes, and they're starting to ripen a little bit. So I want to go ahead and get those. And then I'm also using, this is some roasted garlic oil that I made last night for Pizza Friday. So I took a little bit of rosemary, some fresh whole garlic cloves, and some olive oil, and I just roasted it in the oven for about 15-20 minutes on like 350, 400 degrees, whatever you want. So got that going. Like I said, about some rough chopped red onion, about a tablespoon and a half or so. And then I got some fresh thyme that I'm going to actually go ahead and drop in with our fat to kind of get that flavor infused into it. And then there's half of avocado. We're not using the whole thing. And we actually use this at the end. We don't put this in as part of the cooking process because it'll start turning that fugly brown. So we're going to leave it, cut it. I'm going to show you guys how to cut it, and we'll do it fresh at the end. And then I have 1 slice of Munster cheese that I pretty much shredded or grated or tore into pieces myself, whatever you want to call it. And then about a teaspoon and a half of seasoning blend that I make up here at the house, a little Chef and Son seasoning blend that we use. So I'm going to use those as I let the fat get kind of hot. You're going to want to scale your heat back down because you don't want to burn it. All right, so we're going to get it down to about a medium low, right? Because eggs are really delicate and you don't need a lot of heat on them. And during this time, I'm going to go ahead and get my onions in and just let those sweat a little bit. And then I'm also going to go ahead and start blistering my tomatoes. And those we're actually going to take out and not leave in during the entire process. So we're going to take those out, and once we do, we'll put those aside, and that'll be part of our plate at the end. All right, because we don't want those to overcook and to start to burst. So you just want to give your pan a little shake, get everything moving around. All right, so we got that. Everything's getting a little bit of love on it. And if you want to, at this point, you can use a little fresh cracked pepper on your tomatoes, onions, and all it's doing is incorporating the flavor a little early. There's a great debate amongst chefs and cooks throughout the industry. When do you season the eggs? Do you season them before? Do you season when you mix them? Do you season it, oh, they won't fluff up, they won't do this, they won't do that. It's all about what you like. It's all about what you've been trained to do. It just depends on really what you want. Myself, I like to incorporate the flavor into the scrambling process to know that it's there. I don't like the salt and the pepper at the end. If I'd rather it be mixed evenly throughout and, getting that effect as opposed to sprinkling it on top or, waiting till the cooking process. Like I said, you can kind of just let that love on each other for a little bit. If you don't feel safe shaking your pan, you can always give it a stir. That's why we have kitchen utensils, right? You can go up to about a medium right now during this process. Like I said, once we get the eggs in, you want to drop it down to a medium low because we don't want to abuse the eggs. All right, so we got our tomatoes to blister a little bit, and you guys can kind of just hear that wonderful sizzling sound. So this is what they kind of look like when they're blistering. All right, so they just start to, the skin starts to shrivel a little bit, and it looks like it's been in the bathtub or the pool for too long. All right, so it does that ordeal there. All right, so we're gonna take those out. I'll leave some out here for you guys to look at. All right, and we got our onions that's starting to caramelize a little bit and get a little color on them. So we're gonna go ahead and get our roasted garlic oil down. And then we're getting ready to go ahead and mix our eggs in. So like I said, I did this last night for what we do here at my house called Pizza Friday. All right, so I'm just adding a little bit more flavor, a little bit more fat to my pan. All right, so I take my eggs. All right, like I told you, it's 3 whole eggs and then about 6 tablespoons, which equals 2 more eggs of egg whites. And I get my seasoning in and just give it a good whisk. All right, so hopefully you guys can see that there. Just giving it a whisk. And I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, my pan's going to drop down to about a medium low. But you want to make sure your yolks are broken down. In the worst case scenario, if they're not, you can always mix and scramble in the pan. But what's going to happen as soon as these eggs hit this pan, the protein is going to start to coagulate, which means that's when it shrivels up. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. And there you go. So our onions got a little bit browner than we wanted them to, but that's okay. It's still going to taste good. All right. So right now I like to add my cheese before everything because it doesn't take long for eggs to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and add my cheese now. Like I told you guys, it's just 1 slice of Munster that I shredded up. So essentially 1 slice of Munster for 6 eggs, if you want to call it that, or 5 eggs. Sorry, my math's a little off. And we're going to let those cook. When you're scrambling, you just want to keep everything moving around. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. All right, so, and like I said, a little color on your onions is okay. You don't want them burnt, but you do want them to cook. So in culinary school, we actually, the point in which the eggs were done was not what a lot of American people like to eat. So it's a very soft done, but here in my house and for the ladies, my mom, my wife, they really enjoy their eggs to be cooked a little bit more thoroughly. So that's what we try to do. All right, so you just kind of mix it around, let it finish. That's the cheese, and you can kind of let it sit on the heat so you can get your cheese all the way melted. But one thing we have in cooking in the culinary industry is a thing called carryover cooking, and that's once we take it off the heat, that item that you're cooking continues to hold that heat and cook from the inside out. All right, so the temperature continues to go from the inside, the core of the item, to the outside of the item. So, all right, so we're gonna let that finish cooking. As you can see, it doesn't have a lot of color, so we're gonna make sure we get some color for you guys, and then we'll be done with our scrambled eggs. So like I said, this point right here just depends on how much you like your scrambled eggs done, and that's gonna be about it.